Hello everyone, this is CuddleFail, you can call me Cuddles, and this is CuddleFail Academy ESO Trial Edition. So, you're playing Elder Scrolls Online, you're looking for something new to do, and somebody told you about these shiny new objects you can get in things called trials, and you take a look at it, and see, okay, yeah, that looks pretty cool, let's give this a try. And then you start wondering, oh shit, where is everyone going? Why are they going over there? Why am I alone? Why am I dead now? Well, you think this must be for the pros. Better just put this game away and go outside. Absolutely not. Do not talk such heresy. You pick that game right back up, mister. We're going to get this done. So what do you need to start a trial? Well, do you have a character on this game? Can you go into the group finder? Can you select trial? And can you click on this little thingy right here? And do you see a list of things that you can join? Great. That's it. That's all you needed. Now, it would be helpful if your character is not naked and does have a weapon of some kind, and preferably have a couple of things in your inventory, but honestly, nobody's going to check. You'll be fine. And we can talk about exactly which trials are probably better if you've never done this before, but that's later. We'll get to that, don't worry. Now, let's talk about roles. There are 3 roles that you can play in a trial. One is tank, one is healer, and one is DPS. If you are new to this, you are going to be DPS because there are going to be a whole lot more of you, and it means you're going to be able to make a mistake without anybody noticing, which is what we're here for, right? We're going to be stealthy with this new stuff. But, just in case, with tanks, very easy role. You take things to the face, you stand in front of all the big bads and go, hit me! And if you manage to do that and survive, you are a passing tank, C+. There are other things that you can do, but generally speaking, that's what it is. Usually trials have 2 tanks, and while the mission is straightforward, it becomes very obvious if a tank messes up, so we are going to skip that for now. 2 healers. Healers are there to make sure that tanks don't die, and hopefully stay alive. That's it. There are also only 2 healers, so I'm going to skip them. Now, DPS. This is great. So you might think that DPS is all about the high, heavy hitting damage, and it isn't. The primary role of a DPS in a trial is to make sure everyone is alive. Yes, it is rezzing your friends, making sure that if there's somebody laying on the ground taking a nap, you go, hey, we're not done. Can you get up a little bit? And then once everybody is up on their feet, then you can go run over to the boss and start hitting him with sticks. So, let's talk about sneaking into your very first trial. After joining a group finder, everyone says, yay, we're ready, let's go into the trial, and you port in. Now, you find yourself in this antechamber, this room, filled with lots of different things, lots of different players, lots of different NPCs, and you think, fuck, what do I do now? No worries, no worries. Now, if there is an NPC somewhere in this room with a blue little arrow over its head, why don't you run over there and talk to him? That's a quest. That is the quest you want. Once you are in the trial, nobody can share that quest with you, so this is your one and only chance to make sure you've got it in your pocket. Go ahead and do that. Next, do you have a cutesy little pet? Not combat. We're not talking about the sorcerer's pets or the warden bear. No, we're talking about the cute little kitties, doggies, rats, demon spawns, dragons. Yeah, those are really great in the overworld and running around by yourself, but they are going to get in the way. We are in a trial. This is a dangerous place. You put those poor things away, or I'm going to start calling PETA. Now, go into your inventory. Remember how I said you probably want some things in there? Go ahead and check to see if you have any of the food buffs. That is the drinks, the foods, anything like that. If you don't worry. We'll figure that out. What you're going to do if you don't have any of those things is you are going to go into group chat and you're going to go, hey, does anyone have a food buff? This means that 1, you're going to get what you need, and 2, everyone thinks you know what you're talking about. So again, with the stealthy stuff. Now, as soon as you've got a food buff, you stuff it in your face. Next, you want to check to make sure that you have some potions. Don't have any potions? Don't worry, you're just going to go right back in chat and you're going to go, hey, do you guys have any health potions? Great, same. Everyone thinks you know what you need. Now, when you get it, don't stuff it in your mouth. That is not the time for this. What you're going to do is you're going to put that potion on your quick slot, because when you're in the trial and you're running low and you don't know where your healer mommy is, you are going to stuff that in your face and hopefully live a few more seconds to get to safety. Do not be like me and have pies on your inventory, because throwing pies at enemies and your friends in the middle of trials is considered disrespectful. Generally frowned upon. Don't do that. Next, you're going to make sure that you have some inventory space. This is the land of glittery, glittery, shiny things that you want to be able to stuff your pockets with. So take a look around. There are going to be crafting tables where you can deconstruct all of the junk that you've got from the overworld. Trust me, you've got junk in there. Every so often, you will find a player that has an assistant like a banker or a merchant. You can go ahead and run over there and use them. Just make sure you have as much empty space in your inventory as possible. If you have 100 slots, you'll be able to get through it just fine. Whew, that was a lot of things, but we're done now. We are ready to initiate the trial. Now, we are going to talk about rules. There are really only 2 rules that you need to remember. The first rule is be nice, essentially. But if and when everyone dies and wipes and we have to start all over, the only people that can get mad are the healers. And that is because the healers have absolutely no control in how any of the fights progress. They are just there making sure, well, that we don't die. The tanks are the ones that are taking things to the face and running around the arena with bad guys chasing them, and DPS is being DPS. Basically cats all over the place. Next rule is do not step in stupid. That seems fairly straightforward, but let me explain. What we call stupid in trials is enemy AoE damage that will show up on the floor of the arena in a bright color. Usually the default is red. Now, there are places and trials in which this becomes very, very hard to see. So in order to make sure that you do not cross this rule, what you're going to do is you're going to go into your settings, gameplay, combat, enemy color, and you are going to change that to the most obnoxious color you can think of. And for me, it is this. I can guarantee you there is absolutely no floor in this game that is this color. You will not miss it. Are you overwhelmed? Calm, breathe. Really, there's only 2 things that you need to do and 2 rules to follow, okay? So far, all you need to do is make sure you don't step in stupid and you don't get mad at anybody. You're learning too. That's not going to be a problem. Both of those are easy. And the next thing, when you're in a trial, you're just going to res people and hit the boss occasionally. You do that, you're passing. You're doing great. That's it. Okay? Now, let us get a little bit fancier. Let us pretend that we know what we're doing when we get in there. We're going to talk about where to stand as a DPS when you are fighting a boss, or in general. A good rule of thumb is do not stand next to the tanks. Remember how I said they go around the arena going, hey, hit me? Generally speaking, you don't want to be a part of that if you're DPS. That kind of goes against the staying alive and keeping everyone else alive. So we're not going to stand next to the tanks. A very good rule of thumb is to stand next to the healers. Remember I said the healer's job is to keep the tanks alive and not DPS. That means if you want heals, stay near your healers and you will get pity heals, I promise you. Now, when we're doing bosses, there are definitely safer spaces to stand than others, and what we're going to talk about is the most basic one, and that is called the tight stack. The tight stack is an arrangement of players around a main boss that is kind of the standard, the base, unless there are special mechanics in a trial boss. This is where you're going to stand all the time. It is a good go-to. It's also a good go-to in dungeons, in world bosses, public dungeons, anywhere. So, what is a tight stack? Well, let us think of a big and bad, like Masha. Alright, Maja is from Cloud Rest. Big on Maja is this ugly slug thing, and in the beginning of the fight, Tank is going to go run over, wave his hands, and go, hey, hey, hit me. And Maja is going to do that. Now, what DPS does is they run right up to the back of Maja and act like a little tighty-whitey, getting all up in her butt crack. That's right, you're going to get uncomfortably close. You're going to get so close that if this was in public, you would probably be arrested. What's more, you and all your DPS buddies are going to be practically standing on top of each other. If you can only see one character and there are all the DPS standing right there, that is good. That is the best tight stack I have ever seen, goddamn. Now, healer has a little bit more wiggle room, but generally speaking, they will hang behind the main boss, kind of by DPS, keeping an eye out on tank. That's it. That's a tight stack. Once you smack the asses of 3 or 4 or 5 bosses, wham bam, you're done. Oh my gosh, is that the quest giver? Oh my gosh, I can turn in this quest now? Oh my gosh, what shiny loot do I have? Perfect. You will also start seeing everyone in groups start spamming chat, saying, hey, I have this, or hey, I need that. That can get a little overwhelming if it's your first time. Don't worry too much about it. RNGesus has blessed you with your loot this day. If somebody comes over and asks you, hey, you have this thing, can I have this thing? Tell them, no, absolutely not. Do not give them anything that you do not want to give them. This is your loot. You worked for it. You did it. That stuff is yours unless you feel generous, unless you feel good about it. So, there. And look at you, trial goer. You have everything you need in order to do a fair bit of the normal trials available to you and look like you know what you're doing while doing it. All right, so enjoy it. Go get those trials. See ya.